Hey everybody, this is Nick from Mecha Warehouse, and today we're back with weekly update number 14. Kind of interesting. Number 14 is a lucky number for me, and before this, while I was setting up to record this video, I was kind of reflecting a little bit on the fact that it's number 14. Like it's been a while. I've been at this basically like 3 months or so, give or take, and it's been kind of eye-opening. I've learned a ton doing it, and in many ways, having the videographer that I was trying to hire fall through has been a great thing, actually, because I think learning about this video editing process and learning how to do it will, one, make me position me better, I guess, to hire somebody to help me with that in the future when it comes time for that, and I think will make it easier for me to utilize somebody like that as I kind of figure out what goes into all this stuff. And it's definitely saved me money, which is a good thing. So let's get into it. So let's start off with Week in Review. Week in Review is the segment of this video where I talk about what's been going on in the warehouse. And this has been a very interesting week. A few chaotic things happening. Surprisingly, I think I'm less stressed out this week, despite the extra stress, or maybe I just have no adrenaline enough to deal with it. Well, who knows? So first up, last weekend I started putting in new shelving. You can actually see two of the units right over here. These two big units. They've got some kits as well as a lot of our excess packing materials on them. The plan was to put up 6 shelves on Saturday. We got 2 up in about 3.5, 4 hours. 4.5, something like that. So it took a lot longer than I expected, which is okay. But I was hoping to be done with that project, and based on how long that took, I expect another 2 weekends maybe to get everything up and running. But it's already been helpful. I feel like I'm running out of space with some of the shipments we got in the past week or so. So it'll be good to get another couple up this Saturday and have that up and running, so to speak. But that's kind of cool. It's different vibe already with those 2 big shelves because they're much taller, and we're getting close to the point where it's going to feel like 2 different halves of the warehouse, that you won't be able to see the whole thing from any one spot, which is kind of cool, kind of annoying at the same time, but it's a sign of growth. So I should be excited about that. The second big set of happenings this week actually pertains to shipping. Shipping is fun, or not fun, depending on how you look at it. Sarcastically fun. So number one, you might have seen on our social, our Monday pickup never came from UPS, which is always fun. We weren't the only one. When my normal driver showed up on Tuesday, he had the day off on Monday. And apparently whoever covered for him screwed up a lot for a lot of people, including not picking up for another business on the route that had about 150 next day air deliveries or pickups, which is a lot more painful than anything we're sending out. You can imagine that guy must have been very upset. But it's not great either way. It's not fun to have stuff not go out. We pride ourselves in sending stuff out quickly. And so that was very frustrating, but thankfully the pickup came on Tuesday and we're back caught up. The other half of that is that we discovered over the weekend, early in the week, that there were some hazmat regulations that changed for shipping. And so if you're not familiar with any of that stuff, certain items are considered hazmat. A lot of paints, anything that's flammable usually is hazmat. And there are certain labeling and packing requirements. And it's very difficult to wrap your head around everything, especially in our case because they're considered limited quantities, which is the new standard that is taking over for the old standard. They meet a lot of exceptions, but you need to be sure that they meet the exceptions. So we had to do a lot of due diligence. And by we, I mean my wife. I sent her on the mission to research it. I think her head nearly blew up about 4 times trying to wrap her head around hundreds of pages of regulations to find out that there wasn't that much that we had to do, but we had to do the due diligence to make sure everything was safe. So there were a few packages that were held up because of that, I made sure to reach out to those people and let them know that their packages might be an extra day or so. We're all caught up on that, but that's always fun. So if you ever try shipping paints, plastic cement, panel lining stuff, decal setter and softer and those kind of products, they all tend to fall under those hazmat kind of regulations. Makes them a pain to ship. That's why we don't ship them outside of the continental US, because shipping them air is a huge headache compared to what we have to do to ship them inside the US, and we're just not equipped to handle that right now. But yeah, that's been fun. Thankfully it's behind us, but that was, days of hair pulling trying to get that figured out, and confident that we're good to go and weren't missing something. Number 3, and then I guess kind of on the same note is shipping is fun, is we had an incoming shipment. I posted pictures yesterday, which was Wednesday from when I'm shooting this, 2 days ago from when you're watching this. And it turns out opening that a good amount of stuff was damaged on the inside. Not seriously damaged. It's all going on Dings and Dents. Our Dings and Dents cart had actually almost caught up, and it stems from one of our suppliers now putting a limit on how many kits we can buy at a given time for things that just show up. So they don't want any one store taking more than 10% of their stock of a new shipment, which makes sense because you got a lot of other stores, they have a lot of customers they need to keep happy. But for us, that meant on a lot of things we had to order less than case quantities. And once we're less than a case quantity, that means they have to start figuring out how to pack things kind of more creatively in order to send it out. And so it means a lot of stuff was packed, loose odds and ends in a box, and that never goes well, especially with this vendor. They use really crappy boxes to ship in. They're not super thick, and it just not good at all. So a lot of stuff going in Dings and Dents. We got a lot of cool stuff in, and I guess that's a good point to segue to Restocks. So once again, I should have prepared for this. Not very good at this. I'm going to go run around the warehouse real quick and grab a bunch of the Restocks so I can show them off, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. So I just grabbed everything. We got a lot of stuff in. I probably missed a few from the shelves, especially stuff that we got only a few in, either because of damage or whatnot. But these are the kits that we've got decent quantities on, at least. It's worth checking that restock list for everything else, because there might be a few stragglers that we only got a few of that I'm not even going to mention, just because they're going to get blown away, and I'll leave that as an exercise to the viewer here. But let's see, we got Master Grade GNX. It's the first time we've had that kit. Got IBO kits in. We've got the Mobile Suit Option Set 7. Astaroth. Get these angles right so they don't glare. And the, was this the Vidar? So those are in. Wing Gundam. Seraphim Gundam. So we got a couple interesting ones here. The Dom Tropin. This is one that we got a few of a few weeks back. They sold out like instantaneously, so we got a whole bunch more this time in. Sometimes some of these shipments we get kits that we ordered a long time ago, and when I ordered stuff, a year ago, I was ordering 3s and 6s of things because we were, about a tenth of our size that we are now, and now we're ordering much higher quantities. But occasionally, those older orders percolate to the top when things come in, and really get a few. This is another good example that the Zaku Sniper 1 seems to be a cool kit. A lot of people ask about it, and it's sold out rapidly on a regular basis. We've got the high-grade Sazabi. This is a fairly an older kit. We've got the high-grade GPO1 FB, another older kit there. Some interesting ones. The Hambrabi, that should probably be how it's pronounced. Interesting looking kit, very different from most of the normal kits. We also got this, was it Soryu Maru? It's like a really interesting design. I'm not familiar with the source material. Looks like it's some sort of, it's a high grade, but it's got SH Figure Arts on it. I think it's supposed to be, it's either a crossover between the two lines or it's supposed to be able to be used in a crossover. I'm not even 100% sure, but it looks like a really cool kind of unique design. So some people might find that interesting. Looks like it can transform into some sort of motorcycle thing, which is pretty cool and different than most of our Gundam stuff. Got two more kits here. The HG Full Armor Unicorn Destroy Mode, red color version. And then one more master grade here. This is the Res-L Commander type. So pretty cool stuff. That's it for the kits that I grabbed. There's a few other kits that we got a few of in, and there might even be a few kits I got a bunch of in that I just missed when I walked around. So it's worth checking out the restock lists as always. But the one other interesting new thing, we got these two. These came out a while ago. They're acrylic displays. They're basically logo displays for each of the anime series. We got a Gundam Wing and a Unicorn. Unicorn only got a few. There were only a few available. Wing we got a bunch of. But you basically, they stand up so you can put them on your shelf, maybe on their own, maybe with kits from that series that you've built. And they're kind of cool little displays. They're not super expensive, but you might find that interesting. We've got some other ones on pre-order. The pre-orders were announced recently for some other series. They're expanding the line, and kind of excited to have those. So I think that's it for restocks. So let's move on to Q&A. So Q&A, this is where I answer questions from you, the viewers, or fans, audience, whatever you want to call yourselves, the mecha maniacs out there, when I answer these questions. If you have a question you want answered, post a comment down in the comments below, and I'll try to answer it next time. I've got a bunch of questions this week. I'm going to try to answer all of them. I'm not sure that they're all going to get through, depending on the length of the video. But some of these I might answer in a future video if I didn't get to them today. So if you asked a question and I didn't get to it, I'll try to keep it in the queue, and you can always feel free to ask it again, and I'll try to get to it in the future. So first up, Gam says, "You sound much less stressed this week, Nick. That last week was definitely a better week. Glad the minion is working out. I hope things continue to look up for you." Thank you, Gam. I have a question for you. Do you plan to always stay an online shop, or would you ever consider, and I cut this off when I cut and pasted it, would you ever consider, I think, opening a local store or retail? You'll see the question below. I'll recut that. And so local shopping is a thing that I've considered and probably will happen at some time in the future. If you've seen the tour of this place, you can find that tour video. I'll try to post it up there. Seen that tour video? This place isn't that big. And one of the problems with local shopping here is that our inventory system currently basically tracks what we have here. So if somebody takes something off the shelf and we only had one of them, say, and at the same time someone orders that item off the website, somebody's missing out. Either that person in the store is going to go to check out and they're not going to be able to get the item that they just picked up, or the person who ordered online is going to miss out because the item walks out the door. And to me, that's not really an acceptable thing to happen. I would hate to have to cancel an order on somebody because we're out of stock of it. Most of our business right now is online. I feel kind of indebted to our online customers. We have such a large base throughout the country that I don't want to play favorites, so to speak, and potentially pull something out from underneath somebody like that. So the problem I need to solve is how to manage those inventories separately. Potentially, you can create two different inventory systems. I think the real answer is a showroom, so to speak, that might have one or two of each kit that we have in stock available in it. But we don't have the space to do that right now. There's a lot of things like that I want to do when we kind of move to our next space and grow our physical footprint. but that probably won't be until, I don't know, 2022 sometime, maybe when our lease runs out and we're ready to move to a bigger space or what have you. There's a lot of other cool stuff I've got planned too. I just can't share it yet. Next question. Okay, DK says, question time, rapid fire deserted island edition. Whew. You're stranded on a deserted island. What do you take with you in these categories? Please suspend belief. Kits to build, music to listen to, movies, shows to watch, food to eat, snacks as well as meals. Okay, so kits to build. There's nothing that says I can't bring all the kits. So I brought my whole backlog. I'd be good for a while. But if I could only bring a few, I would probably bring the P Bandai Wing Gundam master grades that are coming in. I think they're showing up today, the day you're watching it. I think they just shipped out because I really want to build those. Probably the MG Jesta and the Sengoku kit. Although grabbing a great PG like the GPO one I just built would probably be good if I don't know how long I'm going to be there, because that would occupy a lot of time. Music to listen to. Let's see. What can I listen to indefinitely without? I'd probably bring a lot of the instrumental metal that I like to listen to, Angel Vivaldi, Andy James, stuff like that, because that I don't know, it's good kind of anytime, and it's good background music when you're doing other stuff. And yeah, I guess I'll go with that. Movies and shows to watch. I'd probably bring The Expanse. I want to watch through that again. We're watching season 5 right now. That's such an incredible show. Just the sci-fi like quasi-realism. It's so much closer and like believable than a lot of other sci-fi space shows. And just the cliffhangers, the acting. It's a great show. Yeah, that would definitely be on my list there. It's one of those things that I want to binge watch the whole thing, so I could see binge watching the whole thing while on a deserted island. And movies, I'd probably the Deadpool 2. I feel like those are very much rewatchable movies and good for a solid laugh and action that kind of cover your bases. Food to eat, snacks as well as, so it's not really food, but water from watching some survival shows. Lately, it seems like deserted islands don't actually have that much water on them, so tons and tons of water. Food to eat, though, probably a lot of rice-based stuff. It's a fairly healthy carb, kind of keep you going. Let's see, what could I not live without food-wise if I had to be there for a long time? Yeah, that chili goes good over rice. What else would I eat? Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty easy on that end. Just something that fills me up. It's relatively healthy if I got to be there for a while. This is a fun question. Wicked Zen asks, glad the menu is working out well so far. Excited about my order. Now the hard part, waiting for the pre-order. Always true. Waiting is probably the hardest part. Question, with the success so far, addition to the Mecha Minion and the plan on putting the new shelving, do you see needing a larger Mecha Warehouse? I definitely do, but hopefully not for a while. We can't really afford to grow right now. I would probably kill any money I'm making right now if I were to double the size of this place, say, and double the amount of rent I had to pay. I need to definitely grow a lot more before I'm able to move to another space, so I got to figure out how to make this space work, because rent is what it is, right? It's a fixed expense. I need to be able to cover that, cover enough to pay myself, pay my staff, and all that stuff. So at some point, though, I definitely think in the next couple of years we'll be going to a bigger space or somehow taking over a nearby unit or an adjacent unit and trying to grow the business and the physical footprint when we can. Next one, Eduardo asks, love everything you're doing. I got a question. Have you considered adding a layaway option or something similar in the future? This is a great question. I think I get this from time to time in personal messages or DMs and stuff. And I have considered it. A lot of those services, they charge you, and they might charge you per installment. So there needs to be restrictions on how big the order can be to have it make sense. And it definitely costs me money. And because of the scale that we're at, I don't think it often makes sense. Or if there's like a monthly charge to upkeep the service. I don't think we would get enough of those kind of orders to make it worthwhile yet, but it's probably something we'll consider in the future. I think that's all I got for questions. So again, if you've got a question, post it down in the comments below. I'll be more than happy to answer your question, whether it be about Mecha Warehouse, about myself, etc. And yeah, I think that's all I got for today in general. So again, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Later, guys.